Hey everyone, ever found yourself writing the same lines of code over and over again? Or maybe your scripts are getting a bit messy and hard to follow? What if I told you there's a magical way to organize your code, make it reusable, and keep it super clean? Welcome to the exciting world of Python functions. In this video, we're diving deep into what functions are and how they work. We'll specifically focus on their super flexible companions, parameters, which let you feed information into your functions. By the end of this first part, you'll be writing modular, efficient, and truly professional Python code. Let's get started. All right, let's kick things off by understanding what functions actually are. Think of functions like mini programs or specialized tools in your coding toolbox. Imagine you have a specific task like calculating the area of a circle. Instead of writing the calculation steps every time you need it, you can package those steps into a single function. Then, whenever you need to calculate an area, you just call that function. Why should we use them? Well, there are three big reasons. First, reusability. This is all about the DRY principle that stands for don't repeat yourself. If you have code that you'll use multiple times, put it in a function. It saves you time and keeps your code neat. Second, readability. Functions help break down big problems into smaller, more manageable pieces. This makes your code much easier to understand, not just for you in the future, but for anyone else looking at it. And third, maintainability. When you need to fix a bug or add a new feature, you only have to change the code in one place, inside the function, instead of hunting down every instance of that repeated code. Super efficient. So how do we actually create a function in Python? We use the special keyword def. Def function name. This is the function body. Pass. You start with def, then give your function a name, choose something that describes what it does, followed by empty parentheses and a colon. Everything indented after the colon belongs to that function. Python uses indentation to know what's part of your function. If you forget to indent, Python will get confused. That pass keyword you see there, it's just a placeholder. It means do nothing for now. We use it when we want to define a function but haven't written its actual code yet. Let's look at a simple example. Here's a function that just prints hello world. Def say hello, print hello world. Now, defining a function is like writing a recipe. It doesn't actually do anything until you follow the recipe, right? The same goes for functions. To make our say hello function actually run, we have to call it. You just write the function's name followed by parentheses. Say hello, this calls the function. When we run this, you'll see hello world printed on the screen. Simple, right? Now, functions are great for repeating tasks, but what if you want your function to do something slightly different each time? This is where parameters come in. Think of parameters like the ingredients you give to a recipe. A cookie recipe always tells you how to make cookies, but you can change the ingredients, maybe add chocolate chips or nuts to get slightly different cookies. Parameters are those flexible inputs for your function. Def function name, param1, param2, function body uses param1 and param2. We define parameters inside the parentheses when we create our function. Each parameter acts like a special variable that will hold the value we give it when we call the function. Let's modify our greet function to take a name as a parameter. Def greet name, printf hello name. The name variable holds the passed value. Now, when we call greet, we'll pass in a name and the function will use it to create a personalized message. This makes our function much more flexible. All right, time to get our hands dirty with some live coding. Open up your Python editor and follow along. First, let's create a very basic function, much like our hello world example. We'll call this greet simple. Part 1, basic function creation. Def greet simple, print, welcome to our Python tutorial. Now, to make it run, we call it greet simple, and there it is. Welcome to our Python tutorial. See? We can call it multiple times, and it does the same thing each time. That's reusability in action. Greet simple, A very common mistake for beginners is forgetting the parentheses when calling a function. Watch what happens if I type greet simple without and try to run it. Print greet simple. This is wrong. See? It doesn't print our message. Instead, it prints something like function greet simple at some address. This tells us that greet simple without parentheses refers to the function object itself, not the result of running the function. Always remember those parentheses to execute the function. Now let's make our greet function a bit smarter by adding a parameter. This is a positional parameter, meaning its position when you call the function matters. Part 2, introducing positional parameters. Def greet name, print hello name, nice to see you. Now, when we call it, we pass in a name inside the parentheses. Greet name Alice, greet name Bob. See how it customizes the greeting? Super cool. Another common mistake. What happens if I forget to give greet name a name when I call it? Greet name, this is wrong. Boom, type error, missing one required positional argument, name. Python is telling us, hey, I need a value for that name parameter. You must provide a value for every required parameter when you call a function. Functions can take multiple parameters too. Let's create a function to add numbers. Part 3, multiple positional parameters. Def add numbers, num1, num2, total equals num1 plus num2, print, the sum of num1 and num2 is total. We call it by providing two numbers separated by a comma, add numbers 5, 3, add numbers 10, 20. For addition, the order add numbers 3, 5 gives the same result as add numbers 5, 3. But imagine if this was a subtract function. Subtract 10, 5 is 5, while subtract 5, 10 is negative 5. So for positional arguments, the order you pass them in absolutely matters. Keep that in mind. And that brings us to the end of part 1. We've covered the basics of defining and calling functions and how to use positional parameters to make your functions flexible. I hope you're already seeing the power of functions in making your code cleaner and more efficient. In part 2, we'll dive deeper into more advanced parameter types like default parameters and keyword arguments. Plus, we'll build a fun project. Make sure to check the description below for all the code snippets from this lesson, a challenge exercise to test your understanding. There's also a quiz you can take to assess your knowledge with immediate results. And don't forget to grab the key takeaways for this part. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more Python goodness, and share it with your coding friends.